Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. This evening's video is basically a halfway season review, plus I'm going to do a small preview of the Rochdale versus Truro City match that will be happening tomorrow at 3 o'clock on Rochdale's brand new pitch. Not done a lot of videos lately. As I say, Rochdale have been on the road a lot because of not being able to play at the Crown Royal Arena because of the new pitch that has just been finished. Looks great. I think it's going to look a little bit rough at first. It's one of them where when you get a brand new pitch at the lower levels, you've got to give it time to bed in, and you see the surface. You might be able to see some lines where the cover has been all covered. For that to fade out, you just need to play on it, run on it a lot, and basically just give it time, and it will look pristine again, probably towards the spring when the weather gets better. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. It's great to be back. Rochdale have actually a big run of home games coming up. We've got 5 in like 2.5 weeks. I mean, I'm going to put the fixtures up probably around here where it's easy enough to see it, so I'm not blocking it. But I mean, just look at them fixtures. Like, you start off with Truro, a team that we should be beating, I'd say, quite comfortably, but Truro pick up the odd points here and there. They're a weird team. Like, yes, they are not doing very well, to be honest, and they'll be disappointed with themselves with how they played so far this season, but they have picked up random points here and there from teams you wouldn't expect them to pick up against. So you've got to be careful against these. Yes, you should beat them, but do not be complacent. I'm going to go Rochdale to win. I'm going to go 3-0. Back on the new turf, and I think it's a chance to probably get our goal difference up, but just don't be complacent, because the last thing you want to be doing is scrapping out a 1-0 or a 2-1 edgy game against a team like this. You don't want to be doing that. This is a game to get your confidence up and basically take that in to the following game, which is only 3 days later. Southend, again, I've got a bit of PTSD with this team, and for some reason, and it's not that I dislike the club or I dislike the fans, but because of the fixture and the way we haven't been able to play them, and the way that the game got abandoned and there's been cancellations, I almost detest this fixture, and I get really passionate and I get quite heated when talking about this fixture. I just do. If you saw my vlog when the game got abandoned, I did suffer head loss. I just did, because they're a good team, Southend. They're tricky to beat. They'll give anybody a good game, and of course they beat Rochdale in the playoffs last season 4-3 to end our chances of getting back into the Football League. So it's a big game. As I say, I don't dislike Southend. I don't dislike the club. But the fixture, I hate it, just because of the way it's been lately. So that's also a massive game following Truro. And then we've got huge games against Borehamwood. We've got a huge game against Forestgreen. We've got a huge game against Carlisle. And then shortly after all that, we've then got Scunthorpe. So this is Rochdale's big test now. This is the period that we were all talking about and we were all looking forward to see, are we genuinely in this title race? I'm going to put the table up here, and I mean, what a season. Like, what a great season. Like, to have genuinely 5 to 6 teams all scrapping it out week after week, and it can be a bit annoying, and I won't be the only fan feeling this, and it won't be just Rochdale fans, but it'll be York fans, it'll be Carlisle fans, it'll be Borehamwood fans, Forestgreen, even Scunthorpe. Every single one of these teams is doing phenomenally well, and it seems nobody can break away from each other. The only advantage I would give to Rochdale is that, of course, we do have game in hand on everybody. I think we've got 3 on York, and we're only a point behind them at the top. We've got a couple on Borehamwood who are already, we're Rochdale outright second, so we've got 2 games in hand on Borehamwood, and we're already ahead of them. Carlisle, I think we've got 4 games in hand on, and we're already ahead of them. And then Forestgreen and Scunthorpe, we've also got games in hand on, but I think we've ever so slightly pulled away from them in the past few weeks. But as I say, all it takes is one random loss from any of these teams, and you can shoot straight back up to the top end, and you can go from first, second, third, and you can go down to the 5th or 6th. That's how tight and how competitive this season has been, and it's genuinely nerve-wracking because you've got no choice but to keep winning. And as I've always said, you can't keep winning. You can put together runs, but at some point you're going to drop points. As I say, York in the past 4 games have drawn twice randomly. Like, they drew, I don't know, I can't remember who they drew against, but I think I want to say they were behind in both games. It might have just been one game, but they drew both, and they probably expected to win. I think one was Boston, one was Southend, but don't quote me on that. I'll put them up anyway, those games that they drew. But they dropped 4 points. So they'll look back at that and go, well, we could have been 5 points clear of Rochdale when they've got 3 games in hand. This is what I'm talking about. It's always missed opportunities at the moment for everybody, but everyone is also doing so incredibly well that the pressure's just on week in, week out, no matter who you play, to win. Because if you don't win, you can guarantee that one of them 5 is going to win, if not most of them, if not all of them. It's that tight. Do I think Rochdale can win the league? I do. I really do. I think we are definitely, if not the best team in the league, I'd put us number 2, only behind York City. York, for me, are the ones to beat to the finish line, and York is an annoying team. Not because they've beaten us twice, that's a different subject, but I don't know if anybody's noticed, but when York play, it doesn't matter if they're behind, and it doesn't matter if they're drawing, they always seem to score late on in games, and just they hit this gear and they just blitz past you out of nowhere. And it's fair play to them, it just shows how good they are, because I think they were behind in a game against Boston. They might have been 2-1 behind, and they might have even had a red card in that game. They might have had a red card, and you think they've got 10 men and Boston are winning 2-1, but York still are pushing and they still managed to get a point out of that game, which is just goes to show how good they are. And same with, I think we're same with Southend. I can't remember who was winning or who wasn't, but you know, like, they just seem to, like, you never know when York are beaten, and that's a testament to how good they are. As I say, they've only lost twice this season. The next best is us with 4 losses. They've only lost twice. The only thing that's holding York back is these random draws that they get. Rochdale only drawn 1 match all season, and that was to Woking away 0-0. It's like, I think the reason why we've got the advantage because we don't tend to draw matches. We win more games. We don't draw a lot. And I say we've only lost 4 games ourselves. We've got the best defence in the league. And we're no slouch when it comes to coming forward. We're not a York City when it comes to scoring goals. My God, they're just scoring goals for fun. They're like, York City are the ones for me. As I said before, Borehamwood was an immaculate victory for Rochdale, opening game of the season, 2-0 away. They've done amazing. They have done amazing. I don't think anybody expected Borehamwood to be where they are at over halfway through the season at this point. Same with Scunthorpe. Forestgreen and Carlisle, we all expected to be up there. I think Rochdale, I don't think we expected Rochdale to be genuine title contenders. I think we expected to be just below the Yorks, the Carlisles, the Forestgreens, just below that. But genuinely, this title could go to anyone. If any team in this top 5 and 6 are capable of going on daft runs, and all it takes, as I say, is 1 or 2 weird results to everyone else, and then there'll be one just shifting away. And at the moment, that hasn't happened. Everyone seems to be going on runs, and everyone seems to be dropping points at roughly the same time. I think this league is simply going to come down to when the top 5 or 6 teams all play each other. And as I say, Rochdale have got that coming up within the next month. We've got Southend, we've got Borehamwood, Carlisle, Forestgreen, Scunthorpe, and then York City, as far as I'm aware, is the final game of the season. If Rochdale are still in the title race by that point, by the final game of the season, I personally don't want to go into that game where York could pip us to the title. I think we need to be more than 3 points clear of York going into that game, because they're going to I think regardless, they're going to have the best goal difference in the league. If we go into that final game, they've beaten us twice this season. I don't want to go into that game where they could beat us and win the title potentially on goal difference, or just if we didn't build a big enough gap. That's why I say these games in hand. These game in hand. This is why I'm saying the games that we've got in hand, we have to win, because we can open up an 8-point gap on York, and that's going to be massive for this second half of the season. Because if it's tight, the way Rochdale has been in, well, almost forever, Rochdale have been like this. When the pressure's at its highest, unfortunately Rochdale have folded. That's just the way our club's history is. That's why we haven't won a league title. That's why we haven't won any sort of trophy outside of 3 Lancashire Cups a very long time ago. You know, it's time to break the mould with Rochdale. Like, this would be our first ever major trophy. First club that's the size of Rochdale. This would be a major honour, and I think it's time. This is why we've just got to somehow replicate the first half of the season, because if we do, we are definitely going to win the league, because we are technically on pace for well over 100 points. If you do somehow duplicate that, no one's matching that. Like, I don't care what anyone says, York won't match it. Forest Green, Carlisle, borehamwood, scunthorpe, none of them are matching that. So it is in our hands, but we just got to make sure we open up that gap when we play these games in hand, and just keep pushing like the first half of the season. It will be just fine. As I say, back to the Churro game, I'm going to say 3-0. Rochdale don't score loads of goals at the moment. As I say, they've just come off the back of a fantastic away win at Solihull Moors, who are one of the informed teams in the league. They actually are. Like, Solihull Moors, I think I looked at the form sheets before that game. I think they were 6th or 5th in the form rankings. They've made themselves a very tricky team to beat. They took a random cross shot in the 95th minute from Pritchard to take all 3, which was huge, because that was the same night that Carlisle got unfortunately battered again by York 3-0 in their own ground. That was a game where I was looking at it, I thought, well, I'll take a draw. Take a draw in that game, both drop points. Rochdale couldn't be outright top of the league with games in hand. No, York just, again, proved why, in my opinion, they're a top 2 team in this league. If not, if you want to say York's the best team in the league, I've got no problem with that. I'm not going to say you're wrong, because they are one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. I'll always go with Rochdale for number 1 this season, but they're a top team. But yeah, guys, that's basically everything. It's a huge period for Rochdale. This is a massive opportunity. We've got to crack on. We've got to pick up as many points as possible in this really difficult run. And yeah, we'll just see where we end up after this. Definitely this will be the hardest run so far this season. But expect a lot of vlogs. I think there's going to be 5 coming up within the next 2 and a bit weeks. So I haven't been able to vlog as much because Rochdale have been away a lot, and I can't go to all the away games just because of like finances and my work, and I've got work. It just doesn't work. Like, ironically, it just doesn't work for me and my schedule to go to all the away games as well at the moment. It just doesn't, and financially, Christmas swamped most people, and for me, I just couldn't commit myself to these games. But got a big home run coming up. Lots of vlogs coming, so if you did enjoy this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss this massive run in this National League season campaign. And yeah, it's tomorrow, so make sure you're there for that, and if you're there, I'll see you there. So have a good day, have a good evening, and I shall speak, and I'll see you all soon. Tune in tomorrow, Rochdale versus Truro. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in a bit.